Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Experience Kills coming to you. I'm your host, Rob. With me is the lovely Ben. How are you doing today?
Hello, mate. Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Looking forward to talking about this game.
Yes, today we have the beautiful, very artsy, As Far as the Eye.
Ooh, yeah, it is gorgeous.
Yes, it really is. It's developed by Unexpected, it's the name of the developers, and they have done an absolutely great job. They really have. This game is very, very deep. There's so much going on with this. It's absolutely amazing. So, on the base of it, it reminds me of many games like FTL, Fast and Light. In the campaign, you're going on a journey. Your beast, your pack beast, the centre of your sort of clan, is going on a journey. You need to escape a flood that is rising and trying to overwhelm you. So you and your peeps, that's the little player characters that you control and move around, the hex-based map, you have to try and move forward through a predetermined juncture, a little network of different destinations. And in each destination, you have a set amount of time. I think it varies, but I think like 70 turns up, to gather resources, develop skills, and try and provide for yourself and your clan. Yeah,
that sounds like an accurate description to me. One of my observations from playing it as well, I had some time with this game as well. I was sort of like surprised how rapidly I was going through turns, because
yes.
I don't experience a lot of games like this that aren't Civ, basically, or Civ similar, as we'll maybe call it. So normally there's so much to do that you're like, each turn can take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before you hit end turn. In this, it was much more streamlined, much more straightforward. Because every of the halts you go to, there are specific objectives that you need to complete. So you have a really good idea of what you need to do to get onto the next one, and you're always aiming for the next one. And obviously the halts will give you different challenges to get into those objectives, and the objectives, I thought, which was really cool, is based on the next one you choose to go to on the kind of overview map. So they vary greatly. It's usually around collecting a certain resource, but there are lots of different resources in this game. So depending on where you are, that may be easier or harder to do.
Yes. It's also quite nice that they feed in the level up perks of each of your different peeps in their little ponchos, the little balloon that's tied to their backs. They can go through different skills. There'll be some for building different buildings, there'll be some for gathering certain resources, growing things, that sort of stuff. And you might need like Herbalist 1 in order to be able to move forward. Oh. And you do move through the turns a pretty decent clip once you've got kind of a spate of plans sorted. So we'll get a couple of people gathering food, you get one gathering wood, another one gathering stone. It's like, okay, yeah, I just now need a bunch of resources. So you just skip through a bunch of turns, getting your resources in, and then I tend to stop and then start spending them. Trying to get then the next step. Do I need a quarry to harvest the next bit or process the ore or whatever? So
It's quite challenging, isn't it? Because something I noticed was I got up to, I did quite a lot of early game stuff. I didn't get too far into it, but to get an additional peep, or I got an additional peep from another caravan that came through, and then I was like, to use him, you need to have somewhere for him to like live. So I then had to build up enough resources to build him this thing so that I could then use him. Then I went to the next halt, and that thing was gone. However, I still had the additional peep, so I couldn't use him until I rebuilt the thing that he needed. And I thought that was well, it's not exactly conveyed to you in that process that's going to happen. However, this is a roguelite. This is a run-based game that is expected to be replayed, and you're basically going to be learning stuff as you go, and taking it back with you when you try again to start again from the beginning. So that's part of the sort of the genre constraint, as it were, in that regard. Saying that, though, there is quite a lot of tutorialization in this game, so it is sort of it's sort of skirting the middle there. I'm not sure that quite works, because if you're going to do that much tutorialization, you expect everything to be explained, or you'd expect nothing to be explained. So I'm not sure it's the easiest onboarding for the experience, but just the visuals and the gameplay itself are so compelling that I'm willing to keep trying and keep going and coming back to it, because it is gorgeous to look at. Even on a lower end system like the one I've got, it still looks. It's got a very clean art style, very pretty art style, really nice color palette, and just a very sort of welcoming aesthetic for what is ostensibly a fairly stressful experience, especially when you start getting the random events that come in as well on your timeline, and you're like, prepare for this, and depending on what they are, they may or may not have a massive effect on that particular halt that you're on. For example, I had to deal with some termite infestations and stuff like that, so it was all quite, there's quite a lot of variety. Now I was telling you about aura, and you were like, what? And I was like, I don't think you ever experienced this aura effect, which is this basically this sort of purple miasma that covers part of the map, and it seems to be generated by certain buildings, and it basically prevents you from gathering resources within its radius, and the only way to get rid of it is to like station a peep on the building, but they have to stay there, so they're basically useless for anything else. So it's tricky. Ooh. Yeah, it's tricky, man.
That's a new dimension of difficulty there. If you don't have a lot of peeps that aren't gathering you food and that sort of thing, then, because you need to make sure everyone's fed all the time, which was my first critical mistake, because I ignored the Tetris minigame inside As Far As the Eye. When you move between halts, you need to take as much as you can with you, but you can't take everything. You have a grid. There'll be some background footage as we're going through this, showing this bit off, because I think it's a really nifty addition. You have a finite amount of space, and each resource goes a different cardinal direction or different arrangement. Some maybe like a clump of 4 blocks, and that might be 100 stone that fits into that. But you can only take what's in the grid.
Yeah.
So it provides an interesting dynamic. But if you're starved for resources because your peeps are stuck in this miasma of protection, then that's going to be problematic.
Yep. I think it's one of those things, because it's run based and because it's roguelite, and it's like you may or may not come across these runs, and it might be one of those situations where you will abandon a run, because even without going to a game over screen, because you're already behind the 8 ball, that you're stuck in a position where you can't dig yourself out of it, so you might as well try a new run, and maybe you'll have a better RNG experience where you don't come across status effects or random events and stuff that really do impact your performance, impact your ability to complete it. It's a really cool little game. I really like it a lot.
It really is. It's absolutely beautiful. Like the job they've done on the art style for this is amazing. It plays really smoothly, it plays really cleanly. Like, they've done an absolutely astounding job.
I couldn't agree more.
Right, well, I think that wraps up this review of As Far As the Eye, given to us by Unexpected. Some wonderful developers there. Anything more to add?
No. Would you like me to do the outro bit, Rob?
Yes.
So that's been another episode of Experience Kills. Rob has been your host, and I've been here in the co-host seat as we've been talking about As Far As the Eye by Unexpected. You can find us on Twitter at Experience Kills. You can find me at DIYE and Rob at Homeless Mr. Gibbs. Do bear in mind, if you've watched the video of this, please remember, if you don't have time to check out these videos, we have an amazing podcast option for you, which is available on every podcast provider pretty much under the sun at this point. So by all means, subscribe to us on there as well if you don't have time to watch the YouTube. But if you're on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe, or else I'm coming around your house and beating you up. Basically, that's the only way it is. Yeah, sorry, that's the way it is now at this point, guys. That's all I asked for. Do it or else. So
we need to get to that 1,000.
We're so close. I can taste it. But yeah, that's been another episode. We really enjoyed playing As Far As the Eye, and I think it's well worth checking out. I think it's at a pretty reasonable price point, available on Steam right now.